Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to my channel English Superstars. Today we are going to discuss one of the very famous poems of Victorian era, Goblin Market, by Christina Rossetti. In this video we are going to talk about Christina Rossetti first, her poetry, her signature style, and then we'll move towards Goblin Market as a poem, as a Victorian poem. Later on we are going to discuss the summary, themes, motives and all the techniques that are employed in this poem. Moreover, we are also going to talk about the role of women depicted here in the poem The Goblin Market. Women of Victorian era. So before watching the video, make sure you have subscribed to the channel and hit the bell icon as well. Let's begin. Christina Rossetti was a renowned Victorian poet. Now I have highlighted all the important points as well. She was born on December 5, 1830 in London, and she came from a very creative and artistic family. Her siblings, her father, her mother, everybody used to write. So she was basically from a creative background. She is best known for her ballads and her mystic religious lyrics, and her poetry is marked by symbolism and intense feeling. Now remember, she is one of the most important English women poets born in range and quality. She excelled in the works of fantasy, poems for children, and religious poetry as well. Now Rossetti was educated at home by her mother and father, and as I told you that her father and mother both used to write, they were creative, artistic, which provided her with a solid foundation in literature and arts. She grew up in an atmosphere of intellectual and artistic stimulation, surrounded by her families. That means it's the creative pursuit and images of that which were reflected in her personality as well. Now moving forward, Rossetti's poems reflect her deep religious convictions. She often explores the themes of faith, salvation and the divine in her work. So religious poetry is also there. She delves into the complexities, her poetry delves in the complexities of love. But now remember, she explored the tensions between earthly and divine love. Nature is a recurring motif in Rossetti's poetry. So that is always there through imagery, through words, but it is there. And she frequently uses symbolic imagery to convey deeper meanings in her verses. Love is often depicted in her poems as well. But that is not the romantic love. It's the love and the bond between family members and friends. Just like the Goblin Market itself talks about the love between two sisters. Now, death is another recurring theme where she reflects on morality, grief and afterlife. Why? Because if there is religious poetry and spiritual themes are there, so definitely death will be there as well. Now, Rossetti's faith is evident in her poetry as she explored religious and spiritual themes that were included in her own beliefs. Overall, her poetry covers a wide range of emotions and experiences. Alright, now let's talk about Goblin Market. It was published in 1862. Rossetti faced several personal challenges in her life, including that of her health, financial issues, family difficulties, and various layers of complexities of her life. So definitely when a person is writing with all the complexities in mind, that is reflected in the work as well, had it been a poetry, prose, novel, or a short story. Personal, biographical or autobiographical elements always reflect the writing. She was diagnosed with breast cancer and she died because she suffered that once again because it recurred the following year, and after months of acute suffering she died on 29 December 1894. So when you look at her personal life, you get to know an insight into the poetry. Why is Goblin Market so complex? Right, so you get to know that because of the complexities of the poetess herself, the problems in her life, and don't forget that it's also because she was writing in the Victorian era where women were not given that much of a freedom to write. Now let's talk about Goblin Market. It was written during the Victorian era. Now the Victorian era was characterized, and it was written in 1862. The Victorian era was characterized by a complex set of social and cultural changes. Yes, rapid industrializations, things were changed, urbanization and advancement in technology were transforming the society. So there was a need to upgrade the lifestyle as well. Victorian society had rigid expectations for women behavior and roles. Women were expected to be virtuous, domestic and conform to the societal ideas. So, except writing, women were supposed to do everything else, but had it been domestic, virtually, religiously conformed to the social and cultural norms. That is what they were expecting from the Victorian women. Therefore, Goblin Market can be seen as a commentary on the restrictive roles assigned to women in the Victorian society. This is the most important thing, that Goblin Market is a satire on the Victorian society. It explores the theme of temptation, desire, and the consequences of deviating from the societal norms. Because society tells us about the taboos. These are the borders that women cannot cross. So this poem talks about crossing those borders, and then because of the temptation, getting the consequences as well. The Victorian era was marked by a strong influence of Christianity, and Rossetti's poetry often reflect her religious beliefs. Now, Goblin Market, it incorporates religious allegory, that is for sure there. It serves more than a cautionary tale. It doesn't even just prohibit you from doing something. It tells you if you do something, if you cross the line, you are going to face the consequences. Now, it is a complex work that can be interpreted in various ways, including feminist reading that explores issues of gender roles and the challenges faced by women in the Victorian era. This poem can be seen as a commentary on the temptations and the struggles of life, exploring themes of sacrifice, themes of family, sisterhood, redemption, and resilience on the human spirit. Now let's talk about what is Goblin Market. What is the poem? Goblin Market is a symbolic poem that connects men's and women's sensational temptations. The goblins represent the evil side of a man. What do they represent? They represent the evil side of a man who tempts women towards him and ruins them in the end. In this poem, Laura and Lizzie. So what are two characters? Laura and Lizzie. Laura and Lizzie are two sisters who have two different perspectives. The goblins try to tempt them to purchase their fruits. Now, what do? The goblins are trying to tempt them to come and eat their delicious fruits, tempting fruits. The fruits are symbolized by different kinds of desires and temptations. The fruit represents forbidden, exotic, and sensual. If you remember, by forbidden fruit, you can refer to something else as well, Adam and Eve. Lizzie knows that the outcome of the fruit sold by the goblins, she knows the exotic desires and the dangers they bring. The dangers goblin and the fruits bring. So she tries her best to keep her sister Laura away from the evil deed. Eventually, Laura got trapped by the goblins and she ended up buying fruits. Who? Laura buys fruits. And also by tasting these fruits, she also gives golden lock of her hair. After eating fruit from the goblin, Laura became alright. So now we are talking about Lizzie, who is worried about her sister because she thinks that her sister will die if she does not receive any further fruits from the goblins. But goblins stop to give her fruit because they know that she's going to die anyway. Now let's talk about what happens next. Now, despite knowing the danger of the Goblin Market, Lizzie went to the market to buy more fruits for her sister to save her life. Overall, the poem describes the sensational temptation, feminism, and also sisterhood. It has been interpreted in various ways, including as an allegory, salvation as a commentary. So what happens is that because Laura does not get further fruits from the goblin, so Lizzie goes there and Lizzie gets all the sticky juice of the fruits on her face. She somehow escapes the goblin, saves her life, and then she comes back home, asks Laura to lick her face, and as a result of which she saves Laura's life. So overall, it is included as an allegory, definitely for Christian salvation is there. It is very deep in the meaning. How? That it talks about sisterhood, it talks about the love, it talks about a girl saving another girl. Now, the setting of Goblin Market is definitely a mysterious and fantastical world. It is all unrealistic, right? Then it talks about the temptations as well. The environment is both dangerous, alluring as well. Alright, the tone of the poem is multifaceted. It reflects the complexities of the themes, and then the elements of enchantment, urgency, and the darkness is there. The tone is somehow different in the starting, and towards the end is different. In the middle of the poem it's sad, towards the starting of the poem it's mystical. Rhyme scheme in Goblin Market is predominantly AABBA for each stanza. It also provides a sense of structure and rhythm, which makes the poem memorable and musical. Now, Remember that in rhyme scheme, Rossetti also uses alliteration, poetic devices, and repetition to emphasize a certain topic or a theme. Temptation and desire. Temptation and desire is one of very important themes. Temptation of the irresistible fruits. And when we talk about temptation of fruits, we remember Adam and Eve, we remember Snow White as well. In today's world as well, there's a lot of temptation to go against the rituals and the societal norms. Sisterhood and sacrifice is also there. Lizzie's selfless act of sacrificing her well-being to save her sister. She puts her life in danger to save her sister. Redemption and renewal, with Laura's redemption through Lizzie's act of love, because Lizzie is the one who saves her. Gender role and expectations. It highlights the challenges faced by women in the society that often limit their choices. There's one more very important thing in gender roles, that Rossetti is breaking the norm, deconstructing the norm of a male protagonist that has to come every time to save a girl. Here, a girl is saving another girl, a sister is saving another girl. There is no need of a male hero. So this is a very basic deconstruction of male protagonist here, that in this society it is often expected that girls are to be saved, right, rescued. But Rossetti is not of the same view. She says that women are capable of saving themselves. They are strong enough. Religious allegory is definitely there when we talk about temptation, redemption, and then death itself. Now, Goblin Market remains a timeless work because of its rich thematic content, exploring aspects of human experience that transcends the specific historical and cultural context of the Victorian era. Now, we said that it talks about the universal challenges, triumphs that the individuals, especially women, that get facing in navigating the complexities of desire, sacrifice, and redemptions. What are the symbols? Goblin Market, what does it symbolize? Earthly desires. Laura's lock of hair, what does that symbolize? Innocence and virtue. Lizzie's resistance, moral strength, and resilience to save her sister. Juice on Lizzie's face, stains or consequences of worldly pleasures. Definitely, if you cross a line, you have to face the consequences. Sisterhood, it symbolizes the strength of sisters, strength of sisterhood, love and bond between two sisters. Goblin men, it represents the temptations and dangers of the world. Imagery, it creates a fantastical and sensorial experience for the reader. So definitely sensory images, sensory details, sense of sight, taste, smell, all these are tempted, or you can say beautifully employed by Christina Rossetti in this poem. So imagery also plays an important role. Irony is there through goblin fruits, but that are harmful because of the consequences they bring. Repetition of words is there. Come by, alliteration, use of F sound, personification, the goblin men, this personification of the cries, and so on. Now remember that it overall explores the themes of temptation, virtue, challenges faced by women, reflects the complexities of the Victorian era, and contributes to the rich tapestry of literature from that time. Rossetti to express her views on societal experiences, cultural norms, religious beliefs, and the intricate relationships between individuals and their desires. So overall, this poem, the themes of these poems resonate with the contemporary reading as well. It offers insight into the universal challenges and triumphs of the individual, especially women, facing and navigating the complexities of desire. That women of today's age as well can save themselves. They do not need somebody to come and rescue them. So women are able to raise their voice for their own rights. They are enough and capable and strong enough to stand for their own rights. So that is all from Goblin Market. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a big thumbs up. Take care. Allah Hafiz.